First trade of 2025 is a loss. We lose $191. Trading Bitcoin. What's going on, guys? Welcome on in. It's the first trade recap of the year. It's January 7th when I'm filming this. I'll probably post it the same day. And it is off to a red start, but we'll talk about the trade recap or the trade. And this is the first one in a while. If you kind of go back, we haven't had a recap in a while. The last trade recap, related video would be the year recap, which I posted, I believe, at the end of the year, just before the end of the year, once I knew I was done trading for the year. And I recapped all that. So if you want to go see that, it was kind of a long video, but I think it's got a lot of really good insight. So, that's, I won't say a story for another day. That's a different video altogether. So we took a Bitcoin trade, and if you can see inside of my notes on TradeZilla, 1 hour time frame, bull flag setup, simple false breakout that did not work. That's all it is. We'll go back. I'll look at this chart. You can kind of see a classic scenario that just didn't work. Just happens. It's just, I can't control that, right? I guess I can, but at the same time, I can't. You know what I mean? I can't control when the market's going to work for my strategy, when it's not going to work. All I can do is just take the setups when I see them, and then find through the data when I have a higher probability of my setups working than not, and then manage my risk in a way that when it does work, I make more money than when it doesn't work. That, in a nutshell, is what it is. And so that's kind of like my realization. Is it really a realization? That was my biggest takeaway from last year, I think. Is truly getting comfortable with that mental, approach to things. And it served me, I think, pretty well. I think this is the year of a continuation of that foundation, and then a beginning to start to scale it up is kind of the situation for this year. But here's the trade on the Bitcoin. So you can see exactly, it was a beautiful setup for what I'm looking for, exactly what I want to see. And I'll take you to the higher time frames in a second to show you why I liked it so much. But, you had the big move on high volume right here, right? You get the big push up, then you get a consolidation. Okay, great. You're consolidating. I saw it. I'm like, oh, crap. At the end of the day on Monday, I'm like, oh, cool. Bitcoin's kind of setting up. Finally, there's something of interest. Bitcoin hasn't given me anything for a while. It's been a couple of weeks. Cool. I would definitely take that on the breakout. And we got it. See how we got that little wick up in there? I put a buy stop order. I walked away because this is at 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time on Monday. And I was like, well, I'm not going to sit here and wait for it. I had an alert there if it hit it, but I was like, I'll just put a buy stop on it. And I put a buy stop on it. So I got filled pretty much on the break, which is funny because when you go back the 5-minute time frame, check this out. Here's the 5-minute time frame. So how do you prevent that? This is a perfect and classic false break. Get the breakout buyers to buy in and then bring us down and essentially burn them, like burning me. The thing is though, you'll go through time and you'll see, this absolutely happens, because you'll have people who make arguments saying, oh, you're a fucking idiot. You never do that. That's fucking retarded. I hear the idiots who say that or think that. But the reality is that if you go through time, you'll see probably an even split between situations where this occurs, right? False breakouts occur, and then situations where it breaks out and just goes. So if you end up having kind of an even split, that's what I've kind of come to find. If you end up having an even split, then the game is much more about how you manage the losses and how you manage the risk at the end of the day. So partially, you can kind of put yourself in a situation where it's well, I'll take less trades in an environment, bigger time frame that does not look good or does not necessarily a higher probability of this over this. So you can kind of play that game as well, which I have played, and I have data on that too. And I'll explain why I did what I did because of the higher time frames. But it's kind of one of those games where it's like a 50-50, and so it's really just about how you manage the losses, And so on this specific trade, I was looking for an approximate 2-to-1 risk reward. So if it were to break out and go, my thought process was, well, I think we can get a push towards 105. And if we get that push to 105, that's about a 2-to-1 risk, meaning I'm going to make 2 times what my risk is. So if I got an even split on these situations, but I got an even split, meaning like they worked literally half the time, then I would make 2 times my losses on my winners. So then I would net a profitable, I guess, trading strategy, if you want to call it that, right? I'd net profits. So that's just how my brain works. And it's really based off the data. So that was that. But like, what on the higher time frames told me to do this? So let me get rid of this. Let me get back in here and clear this stuff out so you can kind of clean this up so you can see it. And also, I no longer need it because I'm reviewing it right now. And so we've already got the video here. So cool. We have it. If you zoom into this chart, you look back to the left and you say, okay, we had the big breakouts, all-time highs a few weeks, I guess, back in December, end of November, December. Cool. Hit a new all-time high, 108 and change. Back in like mid-December or so. So we're about like 3 weeks after that. We kind of, pull back and kind of chop around for 2 or 3 weeks. We start to inch our way back up, and then we start to break above this area right here. So when I see that we are breaking above this area, which is around 99, let's call it 100K. When I see we're back over 100K, I like that look because that is now breaking above the higher volume consolidation zone. And we tend to see price move faster through those zones. Tend. Not all the time. Tend. It's probabilities. More likely than not, but that does not mean, and more likely than not could literally be 51% of the time. That's it, which people can't grasp that or wrap their head around that, but it just comes with after doing it for a while, you kind of get a feel for it. So I see that, okay, I'm like, okay, good, like we're getting some strength, great. I jump in, I'm like, okay, cool, bigger time frames, but does that give me a setup? No, there's no setup there that I like. Like I'm not going to trade based off that. I just see the overarching like view or volume profile price action looks good. Like we're trending up. Great. This would be a time to go long, if anything, for me. I go to the 4 hour and I kind of see the same thing, right? We kind of have this little node right here. We're breaking above that. I go, great, even better. So I'm like, okay, even better. We're going to get up into this area. I say, okay, this is a zone. I'm going to target towards the top end of this zone of lower volume, which is around 105K. Great. Making sense. Awesome. Everything's kind of lining up. Still, no setup. You can make the argument that you kind of have one here. You had, some would say it's a 3-bar or a 4-bar play, whatever you want to say. It's like, so you get the first bar here. The second one stays strong in the top half. The next one stays there. You still got a clear area of resistance right here. So you can say, sure, maybe it's a 3 or 4-bar play, kind of a bull flag there. But I'm like, okay, not a lot of candlestick data there for me. But you go to the 1 hour chart and I see it much clearer. I go, yeah, it's clear right here. Here's our spot. Break out here. Stop loss underneath here. And it did hold the bottom of this level. So it proved that it was, that was an area that made sense. It held the bottom of this. So I didn't get stopped out till early this morning. When my stop just hit, I woke up, I'm like, oh, we got stopped out. And boom, that was it. So that was the trade. Really was like I don't know how many hours, how long of a hold this was. I entered at 1935, exit at 6. So 6 plus 4.5, 10.5 hours roughly in the trade. So I will say I definitely in the past would not have been able to go to bed with that, but I will be honest, last night I did look at it before I went to bed, but I did not think of it all night. I did not roll around waking up thinking about my Bitcoin trade. I actually looked this morning and was like, I just forgot about it. Once I saw the notification, I was like, oh, yeah, I was in that trade. And I'm like, oh, probably hit my stop, and it did. But that's it. So that was a trade recap. Down 191 on that one, but I think you'll see throughout this year, the sizing will be, if anything, going up a little bit because I'm going to be trading a lot less. So, yeah, you see 5 trades on Monday. Well, technically that was 2, or I guess 3. The Bitcoin trade I entered on at night that was sold for a loss, but then these are just 2 trades two swing trade entries that I duplicated because I was on two different accounts. So really, not as many trades. I don't know how long those will play out, but most of the trades I would say this year are going to be swings versus day trades. The plan or the idea is for the day trade side is going to be under very certain conditions that I would day trade. And to be honest, the more I think about it, the more I say, well, wouldn't I just swing trade if XYZ criteria was met? Probably. The only situations would be if we have some of those humongous trending days or massive momentum days, and there is, pressure to the downside, generally speaking, or insane squeeze out type of day. I don't know. Those would be the days maybe I'd be more inclined to take day trades. But for the most part, I don't see a lot of those relative to swings. Maybe the numbers will end up kind of being close to even because swings take longer. But last year, it was like way, way more day trades that I was pretty much break even on net. And then the swing trades made me all the money. So, like, I mean, we'll see. Maybe next year that's not the case, or this year. I don't know. But that's the plan. So I'll leave a link below to TradeZella. It saves 10% if you use code TC10 anytime. And, or when you sign up, if you ever use them. I'm on to year 3 or 4 now of them. So, I mean, I pay for them every single year. And I like them. I'll link them below. Thanks so much for watching. When we have more recaps, we'll post them. If I don't, I will not post a recap. Peace.